Where is the village? Generation X, born 1965 through 1980. Gen X. Gen X is often described as independent latchkey kids, grew up before the internet but adapted to it, raised during rising divorce rates and working parent households, learned self-reliance early. A lot of Gen Xers quietly learned how to survive without much village. Baby boomers, born 1946 through 1964. Boomers grew up during post-World War II optimism, civil rights movement, stronger church community ties in many places, more multi-generational neighborhood life. Many boomers experienced tighter-knit communities than Gen X did. Silent generation, born 1928 through 1945. They grew up during the Great Depression aftermath, World War II, extremely strong community interdependence, church and family-centered structures. This generation really knew what the village meant in practical survival terms. Greatest generation, born 1901, 1927. This generation survived the Great Depression, lived through both world wars, depended heavily on extended family, practiced true community survival, shared child care, food resources. Where is the village? You may find that the further back you go, the more visible the village was. Parents of the millennials, Generation Y, 1975, Generation X, the parents, probably in their 70s, born in the 1950s, baby boomers. The grandparents, probably born in the 1930s, the silent generation. And the great-grandparents, born in the 1910s through the 1920s, maybe. The greatest generation. The majority of us in our 50s and up probably don't have our grandparents or great-grandparents anymore. So that means that our village isn't here. Did the village disappear? Or did independence replace interdependence? Did technology connect us but emotionally isolate us? Did trauma break the chain? Did women start caring more without help? And did church communities shift? Did economic force separation? Gen X is in a really unique position as a Gen Xer because you've seen analog childhood and digital adulthood. That gives you perspective. Did the village disappear? Not exactly. It transformed. In my great-grandmother's era, a greatest generation, survival required community. People needed each other for food, childcare, protection, even emotional stability. But the time we reach my generation, Generation X, survival has become more idolized. Jobs moved, families relocated, divorce increased, two-income households became normal. The village didn't vanish overnight. It slowly thinned out. Instead of grandma next door, cousins down the street, church aunties checking on you, we got suburbs, commutes, privacy, mind your business culture. The village became optional instead of essential. Did independence replace interdependence? Yes. And we were taught it was maturity. Interdependence says we need each other. Independence says I don't need anyone. Gen X was heavily shaped by latchkey childhoods, figure it out yourself parenting, emotional self-containment. So we became strong, but sometimes isolated. And here's the tension. Strength without support becomes exhaustion. Did technology connect us, but emotionally isolate us? Absolutely. Technology gave us constant communication, social media, texting, online communities, but it removed physical presence, shared meals, porch conversations, random drop-ins. We are more connected and less held. You can have 2,000 Facebook friends and nobody to pick up your kids in an emergency. That's a modern paradox. Did trauma break the chain? Every generation carries trauma. War trauma from the greatest generation, economic hardship, racial injustice, domestic violence, addiction, emotional neglect. Many families never processed trauma, they survived it. Survival mode doesn't build villages, it builds walls. My grandmother survived hardship by hardening herself, and my mother coped by staying busy, and I learned self-reliance. That's a trauma pattern, not just personality. The village requires vulnerability. Trauma teaches self-protection. Did women start carrying more without help? Women in my great-grandmother's time had less freedom, but often more built-in support systems, extended family homes, shared child care, church networks, neighbor dependency. Modern women gained financial independence, career access, autonomy, but lost built-in daily support. Now many women are working, parenting, healing, managing households, emotionally regulating everyone. Without aunties, without sisters nearby, without consistent communal help, the village used to surround women. Now women are expected to be the village. That's exhausting. Did church community shift? Yes. For older generations, like the silent generation and baby boomers, church wasn't optional. It was social infrastructure. Church provided childcare, meals, emotional support, accountability, community identity. Now, people move frequently, church attendance has declined, trust in institutions has dropped, spirituality became more private. Even when churches exist, people often don't integrate deeply. You can attend weekly and still not have a village. Did economics force separation? Earlier generations often lived in the same town for life, worked stable long-term jobs, could afford single-income households. Now, people relocate for work, housing costs are high, dual incomes are necessary, people commute long hours. When everyone is tired and financially stretched, community feels like a luxury. But humans are not wired for isolation. We are wired for shared burdens. Where is the village? It might also mean who shows up for me, who checks in, who carries me when I'm tired, who sees me. Why do I feel like I'm doing this alone? And that question coming from a 50-year-old Gen X woman, that's powerful because my generation was told, be strong, be quiet, be self-sufficient. But now I'm asking, at what cost? Social media magnifies extremes, conflict, drama, gender wars, outrage, hot takes. If a woman posts, I'm single, celibate, and done with men, that gets engagement. If a man posts, modern women are the problem, that gets engagement. Healthy, stable people quietly going to work and minding their business, that doesn't trend. Peace doesn't go viral. So if you scroll long enough, you'll think everyone is bitter, nobody is married, men and women hate each other, all families are broken. But that's not statistically accurate. Let's ground this in reality. Most young adults work, delay marriage, delay children, focus on finances, want stability before commitment. That's actually very common now. My kids working, staying law-abiding, enjoying life within their means, that's not rare. That's responsible. The difference is stable doesn't scream for attention. Cultural shifts versus collapse. There have been a shift, though. Compared to generations like baby boomers and silent generation, marriage used to be earlier and almost expected. Now younger generations, millennials and Gen Z, marry later, have fewer children, question traditional roles, talk openly about trauma, talk openly about celibacy. That doesn't necessarily mean dysfunction. Sometimes it means caution. A lot of young adults watch divorces. They watch toxic dynamics. They watch financial instability. So they're slower, more careful. The gender war online isn't the average person. There are loud corners of the internet where men speak with resentment, women speak with resentment. Everyone is reacting to hurt. But most everyday people, they're just trying to pay rent, find love safely, and not repeat family trauma. That doesn't make headlines. Exposure shapes perception. Is it all just what we are exposing ourselves to? Yes, exposure shapes reality. If you scroll relationship war content for 30 minutes a day, your brain will think this is everywhere. If you unplug and look at your real world surroundings, your children, their friends, your church community, your town, you'll probably see more nuance and stability than chaos. The internet compresses extremes into a constant stream. Real life is quieter. Here's the deeper layer. Where is the village? I'm noticing young adults are more independent. They rely less on marriage for identity. They build smaller, tighter circles. They are cautious with commitment. That's not necessarily village less. It might be village redefined. Instead of grandma plus neighbors plus church aunties, it might look like 3 close friends plus chosen family plus online communities. The structure changed. The need didn't. Where's the village? Who holds you? Who checks on you? Who shares the emotional load? Who sees you outside of being a parent? What does community look like in this stage of your life? Who are you beyond active parenting? What kind of elder do you want to be? What do you contribute now?